Hi, it's Washington State Republican Party Chairman Jim Walsh here for our regular Chairman's Update. Uh, Normally I say weekly, but we're doing these more than weekly now because we're talking with all of our endorsed candidates, Republican candidates for statewide elected positions or federal positions, the Congress and U.S. Senate. And that brings us to our conversation today. I'm here with Carmen Goers, who is the WGOP's endorsed candidate in the 8th Congressional District. Big district that covers, what, 6 counties,
Six
parts
counties.
of. Basically, the eastern part of King County with Snohomish and some Pierce, then over the Snoqualmie Pass into central Washington. So you got kind of the Ellensburg, Wenatchee, Douglas County area. A diverse group of communities and people. So Carmen, just tell us about yourself and your background and how you fit into the 8th Congressional.
I am the fabric of the 8th Congressional. You know, we were a military family. We were stationed overseas back in the 90s. We were relocated here after the Berlin Wall was came down, and we turned the unit back over to the Germans. We left. We were reassigned to Louisiana, and when we left the military after many years, we said, where do we want to raise our family? And it was Washington State. We thought it was a great place to raise our daughters. The youngest is now in their 30s. We've been here for over 20 plus years. And in that time, I was a commercial banker. And so I've served the 8th Congressional for these 20 years in my commercial banking aspect, from agriculture, aerospace, astrospace, manufacturing, service industries. I've worked with all of those. And then on the, our family's great, we're great servants in the community. So I've served on many boards, including microfinance, working in our prison ministry, serving with girls aging out of foster care. And as you start to advocate in Olympia and then you're going to DC, you realize, why am I not in the room? Why am I not at the table? And now's the time for me to be at the table.
Now, good. I mean, that's what we always hope for, someone coming out of the community who wants to do more. Now, the 8th is considered a swing district.
Yes.
It's been represented by Republicans, currently represented by a Democrat. But it's always kind of close, and that showed in your primary numbers, where you were very neck and neck with the incumbent Democrat, really kind of a statistical tie, very close. Tell me about what that means, as it's a swing district, which isn't, it's purple. It's not really red. It's not really blue. How does that affect your campaign and what you're doing right now?
Well, a couple of things that came up in the primary that were hallmarks for me were, one, she received just 50.1% of the vote. So people who knew her weren't voting. We came in strong, but we've been out there with the grassroots effort. So 20 plus parades, 40 plus.
Feels like 40.
Yeah, feels like 40 community events. And you're going out there and you're meeting people person to person, eyeball to eyeball, and talking about what changes can be made and what they need to see. My number one, reason for kind of running is the effectiveness of our leadership. And so where my opponent will talk about how she's for the farmers, I said, well, you were chair of the Farm Bill Committee with a majority, and you didn't get that modernized farm bill passed.
Right.
And our small farmers need that, and they've been asking for it. So help me understand how you're effective. And so that's one item along the way that says we can do better. So I've been very glad and supportive that I've received over 60 endorsements from local electeds saying we want more effective leadership. And that's because I'm out there talking, going door to door, person to person, to earn their support. And that's what showed up in the primary.
I think so, yeah. I always love when you're doing a parade somewhere in a community and you're walking the parade and talking to kids. Yeah. You always get that question from one of the parents, a detailed tax policy question, right, while you're walking in a parade, and you're like, well, go to the website, send me an email, I'll tell you later. My truck is moving down the line. So I appreciate that you've done a lot of real grassroots campaigning.
And see, we didn't even get a truck. We were walking every single one, and God bless Ellensburg, that was the longest one.
Yeah, we've got one down in my part of the state. We've got the Longview Parade, which is miles long.
Yeah.
And you're walking it, you've got a float or whatever, but you always try to pace yourself. Always the key. We're talking about your race and a little bit about your opponent. Never been hugely popular in the district, but she's squeaked out a couple of wins. It's significant to me that your opponent, the incumbent, has been very hesitant to debate you. And it's always an indicator when an incumbent, if they're winning by a huge margin, if it's 70-30 district, an incumbent doesn't want to debate, doesn't want to do things, they got a big lead, you understand that. You're in a neck and neck race,
right? Yeah.
And the incumbent doesn't want to debate you. I think that's a different message. What do you think about her not wanting to debate you?
I mean, because I've been consistent through the campaign, and I'm talking about our policies and our outcomes. Policy and our outcomes. I'm sticking to that conversation, and I don't know if she has a strong record that she can really stand on, So that's why I believe it's imperative that we communicate to our voters and the constituents what has been done, and let's stand on those records. But I made myself available when every media outlet has come to us and said, "Are you willing to and able to?" We've said yes.
No, sometimes not wanting to debate is a strength play, a power play. Sometimes it's a weakness sign. And I think here it's a sign of weakness. Well, we're going to try to wind things up here, but we're here to talk about your campaign. Now, the state party does these heart of the party fundraising events and events. We've got one coming up in particular that's in your district.
Correct.
You're going to be there, going to be part of it. Tell me more about what you've got coming up in the next few weeks to communicate with people and talk to people and get out there.
Yeah, well, we're putting together doorbelling teams, so we're hitting key districts throughout the 8th Congressional to doorbell. We also have our last parade, which will be in Issaquah, the first Saturday in November. So we would first Saturday in October. So we would love for a large team to show up there, and we will continue to be at local events as they arise. So we're working hard to stay in the community.
That's the way you win. So give us like your website and the basics on how to get in touch.
Yeah, so my website is carmenforwashington.com. You can register to get a sign, be part of the volunteer team, doorbell. We really appreciate that. Also, you can feel free to reach me at my campaign number, 253-579-4538. I put it out there because we're going to keep transparency as we continue to move through the election cycle and when I'm in Congress. And I look forward to being the next Congresswoman for the 8th Congressional District.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, carmenforwashington.com.
Carmen Goers, Washington's 8th Congressional District in a neck-and-neck race. We'll put the links to the website, the phone number down below and underneath the video. But give her a call or send her an email or contact and contribute to Carmen's campaign. She's in a close race, and this is one that's starting to get a lot of attention all around the country, really.
Right.
Because it's closer than some people thought it was going to be. So.
And we've done a lot with a little.
Yeah.
So with a little, we could do a lot.
Good hunting.
Good hunting. Thank you.